Ramform Titan. The Ramform Titan looks like somebody designed a ship backwards. Most ships are long, narrow, and pointed at the front. This one is wide, flat, and shaped almost like a giant floating triangle. From above, it barely looks like a ship at all, but the shape is not a mistake. Ramform Titan is a seismic survey vessel. Its job is to scan beneath the ocean floor. To do that, it drags long sensor cables behind it across the sea. These cables help detect what is hidden under the seabed, including oil, gas, and geological formations. That is why the back of the ship is so wide. The wider the stern, the more equipment the ship can deploy. So while it looks strange, the design is extremely practical. Ramform Titan was not built to carry passengers. It was not built to carry containers. It was built to listen to the ocean floor. Most ships are shaped to move smoothly through water. Ramform Titan is shaped to collect data. That is why it is one of the weirdest working ships ever built. RP Flip. RP Flip may be the strangest research vessel ever made. At first, it floats horizontally like a normal ship. Then it floods part of its body with water and slowly turns vertical. Once the transformation is complete, most of the vessel is underwater, and only a small section remains above the surface. It looks like the ship is sinking, but it is doing exactly what it was designed to do. Flip was built for ocean research. Normal ships move constantly with waves, and that movement can interfere with scientific measurements. By standing vertically in the water, Flip becomes much more stable. It behaves less like a normal ship and more like a giant floating instrument. Scientists used it to study waves, sound, temperature, and deep ocean conditions. The strangest part is that Flip had no engine for normal travel. It had to be towed into position. Most ships are designed to stay horizontal. Flip was designed to rotate 90 degrees and stand up in the sea. That is why it remains one of the most unforgettable vessels ever built. Sea Shadow. Sea Shadow looked like a military ship from the future. Most naval ships have towers, antennas, railings, and visible equipment. Sea Shadow looked like a black floating pyramid. It was built as an experimental stealth ship for the United States Navy. The goal was to test whether a ship could be made harder to detect on radar. To achieve that, engineers gave it sharp angles, flat surfaces, and a dark, unusual shape. It looked more like a stealth aircraft than a normal ship. Even its hull was different. Sea Shadow used a swath design, meaning much of its buoyant structure sat below the surface of the water. That helped improve stability in rough seas. But Sea Shadow was never meant to become a normal Navy ship. It was a test platform. Its job was to explore ideas that could influence future warships. Most ships are built to be seen. Sea Shadow was built around the idea of disappearing. The M80 Stiletto barely looks like a boat. It looks like a stealth aircraft that landed on water. Its body is wide, flat, sharp, and futuristic. Instead of a traditional hull, it uses a multi-hull design that gives it stability and speed. The Stiletto was built as an experimental military vessel. It was designed for shallow coastal waters, special operations, and testing new naval technology. Its shape gave it a low profile and allowed it to move quickly across the water. It also used advanced composite materials instead of traditional steel. That made it lighter and more efficient. But what makes it memorable is the appearance. Most military boats look functional. The M80 Stiletto looks like a prototype from a secret program. It was not built around tradition. It was built to test what a future military boat could become. Dockwise Vanguard. Dockwise Vanguard is a ship that carries other ships. Most cargo vessels carry containers, cars, grain, or fuel. This one carries oil rigs, offshore platforms, damaged vessels, and giant industrial structures. Its loading method is what makes it strange. Dockwise Vanguard can partially sink itself below the waterline. Large cargo can then float over its deck. After that, the ship rises back up and lifts the cargo out of the water. So instead of using cranes to load the cargo, the ship becomes the lifting system. Its design looks unusual because it does not have the normal shape of a cargo ship. It has a huge open deck with very little blocking the cargo area. It looks more like a floating platform than a traditional vessel, but that design allows it to move objects that normal ships cannot handle. Dockwise Vanguard exists because some cargo is simply too massive for ordinary transport. When something is too large to lift, this ship sinks underneath it and carries it away. Vision of the Fjord. Vision of the Fjords is strange in a completely different way. It is not weird because it looks ugly. It is weird because it looks more like architecture than a ferry. Most passenger ferries are simple and practical. They move people from one point to another. Vision of the Fjords was designed for sightseeing in Norway. Its shape was built around the landscape. The exterior walkways rise across the vessel like a mountain trail. Passengers can walk over the ship and view the fjords from different levels. Instead of hiding people inside, the ship turns itself into a viewing platform. It is also a hybrid electric vessel designed to reduce pollution in a sensitive natural environment. That makes the design feel even more intentional. Vision of the Fjords does not look like a normal ferry. It looks like a floating piece of modern architecture. Most ships move through a landscape. This one was designed to become part of it. Vernon C. Bain. The Vernon C. Bain was not a cruise ship. It was not a cargo ship. It was a floating jail. Used in New York City, the vessel functioned as a correctional facility on the water. From the outside, it looked like a large industrial barge. But inside, it contained cells, dormitories, medical spaces, and security areas. The idea was to create extra prison capacity without building a new land-based jail. That is what makes it one of the strangest ships ever used in a major city. It was not built to explore the ocean. It was not built to transport goods. It was built to hold people while staying anchored in place. A ship normally represents movement. The Vernon C. Bain represented the opposite. It was a vessel designed not to travel, but to remain fixed in one location. A floating prison. MV Susitna. MV Susitna was one of the strangest ferries ever designed. It was built to solve a difficult transportation problem in Alaska. The vessel needed to handle rough water, shallow areas, ice, vehicles, and passengers. Instead of using one normal ferry design, engineers combined several ideas into one vessel. Susitna could operate like a swath vessel, using twin hulls for stability. But it could also change configuration and work more like a shallow draft barge. That made it extremely unusual. It was not just a ferry. It was a transforming ferry.